hope you liked my intro. Starting off, my favorite topic would fall under reasons as ways of knowledge, and specifically, I like the lesson about inductive versus deductive reasoning, and that's mainly because it just goes to show that you could really make an argument or a conclusion about anything, and it doesn't always have to be right. So, let's take a look at an example. Here's an example about inductive reasoning. This here is a book. This book is about TOK. So therefore, all books are about TOK. This follows the two true premises and one false conclusion, which is clearly wrong because this is about math. Now let's look at an example of deductive reasoning. All the plants in Nikita's yard are real. These flowers are in Nikita's yard. Therefore, these flowers are real, which is true. So my favorite assignment was definitely the comic strips about logical fallacies, and this is mainly because we not only got to be creative with it, but it helped us understand different point of views when people are using different types of arguments. So now I can accuse somebody of using ad hominem. You can pause if you want to read the comic. Now I know you guys are dying to ask me this question. What's the most useful thing I learned in this TOK class? Well, I have an answer for you. The most useful thing that I took away from this TOK class is my ability to understand that life isn't always black and white. There are a lot of gray areas, and that many times it's based off experiences that we come to our own conclusions. So sometimes we just have to take ourselves out of our shoes and look at it from another perspective to understand why people think the way they do. So, a time in my life where I've had a TOK moment where now that I look back on it makes me realize how important our discussions are is when the picture of the dress came out. Now the whole debate was, is the dress black and blue or is it white and gold? Black and blue. But whatever the answer was, black and blue. It made us realize that our perception may not always be right and that looks can be very deceiving. Now later on they did come out and say that the dress is in fact black and blue. But it doesn't mean that people were wrong. It just means that they had a different experience and they perceived it in a different way. And isn't that what TOK is really all about? Okay, so a quote that sums up TOK. Featuring my tree. Hello, tree. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Will you make a sound? I guess not. Because guess what? The world does not revolve around us. There's a whole galaxy beyond our eyes that we have not discovered. So yes, it does make a sound, because the tree doesn't need us, we need the tree. Okay, so a picture that I chose to sum up TOK was this picture of a black hole. And the reason I chose this is because in every discussion or homework assignment or whatever it may be, there's probably about 100 answers that we could come up with, and all of them are right, but at the same time, if we think hard enough, we could probably prove all of them to be wrong. Like, how do we know that any of those answers are real? Like we had said before during one of our classes, like, how do we know we are real? We never know if the world's gonna end at any point. We never know if we're actually living real life. And I feel like everything is just one big blur of a question. And that made me think of this black hole because we don't know if it's endless. We don't know if it has an end point or a beginning point. Probably the hole right there, but the picture's very blurry. And I don't know, it just made me feel like it's such a big question mark when you think of it. You don't know much about it. And if you think hard enough, we could probably say the same thing about our own lives. So that might have been confusing, but that was my answer. So thank you for watching. I'm so sorry to put up with that.